What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Spanko, and today I'm back with my Traptrix deck profile. Yes, I think this deck could be a meta sleeper. I think this deck low-key can be pretty good. I think it has a decent matchup against a lot of the meta. Unfortunately, I haven't tested it against Guru too much, but I have friends who are Guru players that say Traptrix just for some reason beats that deck. I'm not entirely sure why, but I can for certain tell you that this deck is really good against combo heavy decks, especially when this deck gets going. This deck definitely snowballs really well, and especially with like Mermelio right here. And I'll get into like the small combos and stuff later on in the video, and I'll let you guys know like how small things should be done. But I think this deck could be a meta sleeper. I think this deck could be really good in this format, especially in a format where maybe 4, 5, 6 different decks could be really good. This is one of the decks that I've been trying to play for a little bit, so like I'm like really excited to showcase my deck profile, and I've tried a lot of different profiles. I'll tell you guys more when I get into it, but I'll show you guys different cards and different options you can play, because there's actually so many ways to play this deck. It's actually unreal. But if you guys enjoy these deck profiles, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you guys want to see a deck list, I put all my deck lists in the Discord, and the link to the Discord will be in the description below, so you guys can check that out, so you guys can see the deck list on this. So first thing off, you are playing triple Mermelio. When Mermelio is normal summoned, it adds a whole normal trap card from your deck to your hand right away. So this is like basically a rota for your deck, which is why you definitely want to play the 3 of this. It's probably one of the best normal summons, if not the best normal summon. All of the Traptrix cards, by the way, if you guys don't know, are unaffected by whole trap cards. So the next one you play 3 of is Dionia. Dionia is really good because if this card is normal summoned, you can target a Traptrix monster in your graveyard and then special summon in defense position. So that helps just make your rank 4 plays, your link plays, etc, etc. But if this card is special summoned, you can target a whole trap card in your graveyard and set it to your side of the field. And that's really good because basically it recycles your resources. A lot of your trap cards, once they go to the graveyard, they're just stuck in the graveyard. So this allows you to recycle your trap cards after they've already been used. The next card is triple Mantis. I like Traptrix Mantis. If this card is normal summoned, you can add Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand. So that's really good. Just adds you Mermelio for a follow-up. Mantis also has a really cool quick effect where once per turn, you can target a set spell or trap card you control, return it to your hand, and then set another card from your hand. So the reason that's really good is because let's say you have your Mantis on the field, right? What happens is if your opponent tries to twin twister one of your cards or MST or Cyclone or whatever it may be, you can actually take their target, bounce it back to your hand, and then set another card. So Mantis actually has a really cool like quick effect that comes in handy once in a while. So when this actually resolves, it's actually really good for you, and it makes like a neg1 essentially for your opponent. And then the last card I'm playing, the last Traptrix monster I'm playing, is 3 Traptrix Nepenthes. So this has a really cool effect where basically if you activate a whole trap card while this card is on the field, usually it's going to be in defense position. Basically what will happen is you can add a Traptrix monster from your deck to your hand, or you can special summon it, and this just lets you again snowball. And that's why I said this deck likes to snowball a lot, because if you can get this off, for example, then you get another monster on the side of the field. The monster will get its effect. So let's say you summon your Mermelio or Dionia will get you a trap card back, etc, etc. So that's why the Nepenthes actually gets this deck really going. And then the last card, the last monster you play, is just triple Ash Blossom. It's the only hand trap I actually am playing. Well, technically there's one more, but I'll get into it soon. But this is the only hand trap I'm playing just because I think it's the most generic, and like when you can play generic cards that hit like every deck, that's essentially what this wants to do. So that's why I just played the Ash. Now this is what I mean when I say people play other versions of this deck. Some builds I've seen don't play Ash at all and actually play Tiamaton. And the reason some people play the Tiamaton is because it's actually really easy to summon, with like Sarah being your link 1 with a trap card here, and then a lot of the times you can get a rank 4. So essentially your board, like most of your generic boards, are going to be Sarah, a rank 4, and like some set cards. So the Tiamaton is really good in that sense, because if you have that, then you can actually Tiamaton here, and now your opponent's extra monster zone is locked. So that's really cool. But the problem with that is I think it's format dependent. Also going second, it really hurts. Like I wanted some playability going second, which is why Ash is really cool. Obviously we side in to play second, but that's the reason why I thought Ash was really good in this format, in a format where, for example, like there's going to be a lot of back row in my opinion. I think Guru and Altergeist are going to be really good. Obviously there's other decks that aren't going to be Guru and Altergeist, but again, Ash is really generic, so you can use the Ash in that sense to just hit every deck. So I should mention I'm playing no spell cards in this deck, and another thing is I am not playing the artifact package. I think the artifact package is not as good as it used to be, just because like I said, with the resurrection of Altergeist and Guru, I didn't want to play essentially cards that were going to be dead against some decks. So I am playing triple Traptrix, obviously one of the best cards in the deck. It literally was made for this deck. So triple Traptrix, and then one of the actual best cards, if not the best card in this deck, is the Phantom Knights of Shade Brigandine. Now this card with any like Traptrix monster, especially Mermelio, is insane. If you open this, you get your Sarah plus your rank 4 plus your set cards and whatnot. So if you normal summon Mermelio, you'll add a normal like whole trap card to your hand, and then what you'll do is you'll set this, you'll make this into your Sarah, and then you will flip this to summon it under Sarah, and then you'll get your Sarah effect and whatnot, and then usually you'll just be ending on a rank 4, usually Rafflesia. So Sarah Rafflesia plus like a couple card set is really good because it's going to be hard for your opponent to play through 2 or 3 trap hole cards. Now the one card that I am playing that I'm kind of iffy about and I'm back and forth about, it's been really really good is the Infinite Impermanence. Now, the reason I say I'm back and forth about it is because it doesn't synergize at all with this card. Because if I'm going second and I imperm one of my opponent's cards, like, yeah, that's cool, but now this play is not live anymore, and this is pretty much the best play in the deck. So the reason I still opted to play it is because it's only for those situations where I'm basically like opening both of these and going second, and I have to activate the Impermanence on my opponent's turn, right? If let's say they're playing Guru or Geist, like I don't have to activate the Impermanence right away. And the reason I decided to still play these, and this is like what I mean by the only other hand trap, is because this card is really good going first, right? Being able to set this card going first is insane. And it's also Traptrickable. Does that make sense? Traptrickable. Yes, you can trap trick Infinite Impermanence, which is why I think it's really cool. Now, I know these dudes don't synergize, like I said, but I think there's only going to be a couple niche scenarios where you're going to be basically opening these two and it's not going to synergize well. Otherwise, like, this card is just way too strong on its own to not want to play it. So that's why I play this, because you want to go first anyway, so being able to set this is going to be really good. And playing second, like, it lets you play second. The problem with this deck a lot of the time is you cannot play second, so this lets you actually just play second. And yes, you might give up this play, but being able to imperm your opponent and then actually be able to make a board or make a combo or something and actually play because of the imperm is more worth it, in my opinion. So that's why I play that. Then I'm playing one of the best trap cards in the game right now, in my opinion, Triple Compulse. I think Compulse is one of the best cards in the game. Being able to just bounce anything back, and it actually targets any monster on the field. So even if your opponent, for example, sets a Guru or whatnot, you can Compulse the Guru. If they set a monster that you just need to out, or if they summon a monster you need to out, or if you know that this monster is going to continue their combo, then what you're going to do is you're going to Compulse it. A lot of the times, if my opponent, for example, against a hero player, if they summon a Malicious, you can Compulse the Malicious a lot of the times, and now it's just a dead card in their hand. So that's why I really like these. I think it's one of the best trap cards in the game. It's also Traptrickable. I really like saying Traptrickable. But it's also really good because you can search it with Trap Trick. It's one of the best cards. It basically outs any monster, so that's why I really like the Compulse. And then I'm also playing Triple Lost Win. This is basically a pseudo strike. You don't want to play strikes in this deck. It's not like you don't want to, but it's like Trap Trick can search this, so why not play it? Also, this recurs itself, which is really cool. Again, a lot of the problem with a lot of trap decks is once you use the trap card, it's dead. It's in your graveyard, it's gone. So that's why I play the Lost Win, because it recurs itself. Again, the Dionia recurs trap cards, so that's why I wanted to be able to play through. Now, this deck doesn't OTK super well, which is why you need to be able to recur as much as possible, because like once you start snowballing, you want to still, you know, have advantage. You don't want to snowball and then poof, you're gone, right? So Lost Wind is really good in that sense. And then because we are, and people are expecting it to be a back row heavy format, I am playing 3 Heavy Storm Duster in the main deck. Now, if this changes, so this card I think can change, and if this changes, like where, you know, we see more combo heavy, I know Spiral is still going to be really good and so is Hero, but if this changes where this card is not going to be as good anymore, then you can obviously take these out of the deck and play other trap cards. So that's why I think this deck is really good, because it's very flexible in the trap cards that it plays, and you can just play trap cards for each format, right? If we are correct in assuming that Guru and Altergeist is going to be really good, then Heavy Storm Duster obviously in the main deck is necessary. If not, then you can actually side these out, or not even side them out, just take them out of your deck in general, and then play different trap cards to counter the meta and counter what you need to be playing. So Heavy Storm Duster, and then for the last trap card I'm playing that's not a whole trap card, it's one Torrential. I really like Torrential Tribute, and the reason for that is, if you guys don't know, Sarah says it's unaffected by trap cards in general. So the reason that's really good is because if you have your Sarah on your field and whatnot, whatever, and your opponent's about to full combo you, being able to just set Torrential, activate Torrential, destroy all your opponent's board, you still have your Sarah. Sarah will still go off because a normal trap card is activated. This is really good with Sarah, and I didn't want to play it at more than just one. I know it's at 3, but I didn't want to play it at more than just one because I didn't want to rely on this per se. And again, it's not really good against the back row decks like Guru and whatnot, so I did not want to rely on this, but it does have that one application with Sarah that's really good. So then for the whole trap cards, I am playing 2 Floodgate Trap Hole, 2 Bottomless Trap Hole. Originally I was playing 3 and 1, but I decided like 2 and 2 is actually not bad either, because you can bottomless a lot of cards in this format, and Floodgate is really good against some decks, being able to just like put your monster face down and now it's stuck there. It's really good against heroes and whatnot, so Floodgate is really good in that sense, but Bottomless is really good because it's also good against a lot of decks, and being able to just banish monsters outright is just really good. Then for the last hole cards, I'm playing 1 Chain Hole. This card is spicy, man. I'm telling you, this card is really good. If you guys don't know what this card does, so basically when your opponent activates a monster effect in response to a card or activation, you can negate that opponent's effect, then your opponent can banish 1 card from their hand with the same original name as a negated card, and if they don't, then you banish that 1 random card from their hand. So basically, if they activate something in response to one of your trap cards or in response to one of your monsters, you can Chain Hole, right? Now once you Chain Hole, what they have to do is basically from their hand or from their deck, they have to banish another copy of that card, or you get to banish 1 card randomly from their hand. So if they activate like a 1-of, then that's really good for you, because then you can banish another card from their hand, and then now they've neg 2, right? So Chain Hole is really good. I play 1 Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare just because it's searchable and it's basically a strike, and then 1 Time Space Trap Hole. Now Time Space Trap Hole was the 41st card, but I still think it's really good only because I wanted to play enough whole trap cards where my Sarah and my Traptrix monsters would continuously resolve. And so I originally wanted to play just these 5, or maybe play 6, right? Maybe play this one as a 6. But then I found myself, I was like, sometimes if you draw into 1 or 2 of them, because you probably are going to draw into 1 or 2 of them, you want to be able to resolve your Traptrix monsters still. So that's why I decided to up it to 7. And I think this is fine. I think if you open one of these is really good, because now if you open one, you know to search for the other one essentially. So that's why I think I did like the time space trap hole. Another card that could be really good is break off trap hole. I think that's the one where if your opponent summons a monster, you flip it and then you destroy all non-linked monsters. So that could be kind of cool. But again, if the format ends up being a back row heavy format, then I don't think that card's the greatest. Again, we'll see where the format goes, and then you just switch up your traps according to where the format is. Now for the extra deck, you are playing triple Traptrix Sarah. I think this is obvious. It's the one card that you go into like pretty much every turn. This card occurs so much advantage. So basically, when a normal trap card is activated, a special summon a Traptrix monster from your deck with a different name than the cards you control. So if Sarah is your only Traptrix monster, if you have Sarah Rafflesia, you can pretty much summon anything from your main deck, and then you can summon anything that you need for that specific moment. If another Traptrix monster's effect is activated while this card is on the field, you can set one hold trap directly from your deck. So that effect can't actually be Ash because it sets it straight from your deck. And again, it gets your Mantis and whatnot on the field, which gives you the quick effect potential, or the Nepenthes, where if you activate a whole card, the Nepenthes would give you more advantage. So that's why I said like this card lets you snowball super easily. Now all your monsters are Earth, so I just made 1 Mrs. Radiant just because I think it's just generic link 2. Phoenix, just these are utility cards that you'll make. Boral Sword and Boral Load. Now I know you don't spam monsters in the deck too much, but again, you can make them. And with the side deck, these actually become a lot easier to make because you do side deck mind controls. You also side deck Mechanite monsters, which I'll show you the side deck in a minute. But basically, these cards become a lot easier to make once you side, so you definitely want to play these. 1 Rafflesia, I think once you make this, like this is your combo, Sarah Rafflesia, and then it's going to be really hard for your opponent to out that. So Rafflesia is really good. I play a Utopia package, just Utopia and the Lightning. I do not play Double or Nothing. I think that card's a brick in the deck, and I don't want to run a brick. And something like Striker, when I remember when people used to play it in Striker, it made more sense because it was a spell card at least. You could discard it, and you can pop it with your multi-roll or whatnot. With this deck, I don't want to play any bricks, so Utopia Lightning, Utopia is really good just for game. Ugaga Cowboy also just for game because I think this card is really easy to make. Tornado Dragon for the back row decks if you don't see your heavy Storm Duster or a Traptrix and you're like, okay, I really need to get rid of, let's say you're playing against Guru, you make this instead of Rafflesia. 1 Dweller I think is still good. I think Orcus can still be around, so Dweller is really good in that sense. And then 1 Raid Raptor Ultimate Falcon because we are siding Waking the Dragons. I think Waking the Dragons is one of the best cards in the side deck right now for these trap decks, so I definitely want to play the Ultimate Falcon just for that. And lastly, for the side deck, now the side deck can change obviously according to the meta, but I am playing this for now. I'm playing triple purple, double blue, 1 indigo. I think this is just because if you're going second, it gives you beaters on the board. It helps you out your opponent's cards per se. So for example, if your opponent sets up a board, right, and you're going second, obviously being able to set 5 is like good, but going second is not the greatest. So being able to set like 1 or 2, your opponent's gonna have cards on the field, and then being able to special summon your deck kind of monsters gives you 1 beaters and 2 link material, right? So that's why I really like this ratio. It's just a small Mechanite ratio. Then I am playing triple Nibiru because again, you're going second against heroes or Spiral. You need the Nibirus. You need something to be able to out those combo decks. So Nibiru is really good. Again, going second, double mind control. This deck struggles going second. Going first, this deck is perfectly fine. So that's why a lot of these side deck cards you'll see is for going second, except for this one right here, which is Waking the Dragons. You always want to side this in going first. If you know you're going first, your opponent's going to be siding in Twin Twisters, Cosmic Cyclones. And the thing is, like, this card just has to leave the field by your opponent's card effect, and it has to be in the graveyard or banished. That's why this card is really good, because even if they Cosmic Cyclone this, it doesn't matter, you still get it off. So that's why Waking the Dragon, I think, is just the only card you side in going first. And then Reboot, you can technically side this in going first as well if you know you're playing against trap decks, because you could just set this. Going second, this definitely needs to, I know it's a one-off, but you still need to do it against Guru and against Geist. It's just a lot of like auto win, and I know it's Saki now, but you still got to play it. So guys, that is it for the deck profile. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, please let me know in the comment section down below, and by liking this video, and consider subscribing to the channel. I'm almost at 3,000 subscribers. The goal for the end of January was 3,000, and the goal for end of 2020 is 10,000. Let's make it happen, guys. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know in the comment section down below as well. Now, I haven't been playing the deck for super long, but I do find the deck really enjoyable, and I am trying to learn it as much as possible. If you guys have any changes that you would make, also, like, again, this deck can change based on the format, and the trap cards you play are based on the format. So wherever the format ends up solidifying itself, then you can start playing trap cards according to that. But I think the extra deck is like pretty solid, and I think the monster count is pretty solid. The Tiamaton tech is really cool. We could do that again if like combo decks become really relevant and whatnot, so maybe that could be a thing. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this deck profile, like this video, subscribe to the channel. That's Spanko signing out. Peace.
My hands steady, I feel ready, but my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit.